Dreem 2 headband, Muse S headband, because I actually wore both headbands. Hi, my name is Shervin Shares. I talk about health, wellness, and technology. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about the Muse headband versus the Dreem EEG headband right here, the Dreem 2 headband I should say. I'm going to walk you through their sleep features, how they compare with one another, and what I think about these two products. We'll discuss the actual devices themselves, using them, the devices' apps, the data that you get from these apps, and finally the price and what I believe is the best device that you should buy. Or I guess the device that you should buy depending on what you're looking for. If you want to see more health, wellness, technology related content, please make sure to subscribe, like this video. Let's get into it. The actual devices. When it comes to form factor, you can tell. The Dreem 2 headband, this thing is huge, it's massive. The charger itself is rather large, the headband itself is big, compared to the Muse S especially, right? This is small, it's foldable, the entire thing is essentially a piece of cloth, except for the battery and chip that lives inside of this piece, right? You can take that off and you've just got this headband. So if you are someone who travels a lot, which most people are not doing right now, this is a great device for traveling. You can buy a case like this, put the headband in, and be able to travel with it and not have to worry about it getting damaged. When it comes to the Dreem 2 headband, it's really hard to travel with this device. They don't give you a case. You have to kind of put it in a way where it's protected, and all the sensors are kind of exposed right here at the bottom here when you're moving this device around. So there's no real good way to travel with this. I tried traveling with it once, I never travel with it again. When it comes to charging the devices, the winner totally swaps. Charging this device is easy. I'm in bed, I'm laying down, I wake up in the night because this alarm goes off. Boom, I pull this bad boy off and just slide it right into the charging, and bam, it's charging for the day. You just have to make sure that it lines up. It's got these two little metal components, and you learn, you might mess it up the first couple times, but as long as you get them within these little silver pieces, it'll start charging, and I've kind of figured it out to make sure it lines up. And the base is always plugged in via micro USB. This uses the same cable, micro USB. Instead, you actually have to plug it in like you would your iPhone if you don't have a wireless charger. I'm not used to that experience because I always wireless charge now, but you have to plug it in every night. Both devices need to be charged after each night of use, so you have to really keep that in mind. I tried using this and the battery ran out and I tracked about 2 hours of sleep. When it comes to placing the devices on your head, this device is much smaller, it wraps around much easier. You actually want to close it first and pull it on over your head. Boom. It's sleeker, it's more comfortable. If you sleep on your face, this will be obviously much better because it kind of just rounds around. There's no harsh components. It's essentially one strip, it's much smaller, and it sits by your ears better. When you're wearing the Dreem headband, you actually have more components, right? The sensors are on the front, the battery and the buttons are at the top, and you have two more sensors at the back rather than around your ears. So it is much larger, and this thing can kind of move around. If you have a shaved head, your head is smaller, this device can move around a lot. If you have hair, it'll probably stay a little bit better, but there's still a big massive piece sticking out of the top. When it comes to what the hardware pieces can track, they both have their EEG brain sensors right there, as well as two around the ears or in the back. They both have heart rate monitors, so there's also a heart rate monitor here. This one has a hole right there and it'll flash a green light to tell you it's tracking. They both do how you're sleeping, whether in your side, your back, your stomach. The Muse will give you a sleep score as well as kind of how still you were throughout the night percentage-wise. And the Dreem will tell you the number of awakenings you had, your sleep schedule consistency, the time of awakenings, your sleep efficiency, how long it took you to fall asleep, your breathing rate, and how many position changes you had throughout the night. So for the general data, that's really the most important is like what time you go to bed, what time you wake up, and how much deep sleep you get. And I would say both of these track both those numbers. It's all about how they show the data to you. And that happens in the app. So let's jump into the app. I guess I should say apps. Now let's dive into the apps. Let's pop up the screen recording right here. Dreem headband. You pull it up and it has a long kind of Instagram style display of each of your nights. It tells you how much you slept for the night, the bedtime and the wake time, as well as little cards to kind of notify you how that sleep went. So if you had a lot of deep sleep that night, what stage of sleep you woke up in, how quickly you fell asleep, you can see that data right there. If I tap into one, I can see more data about my night, like awakenings, my sleep schedule, my efficiency. Then I tap stages and I can see my actual stages: deep sleep, REM, light, and wake sleep. Wake sleep? And you can slide through to see the position that you slept in. So on my side, my back, I typically sleep on my side, sometimes my back. And if I tap on each one, it gives you the full duration and the actual percentage. I also get my average heart rate, my average breathing rate, position, the number of position changes. And I think breathing rate and heart rate are really good to detect if you're sick. Those can typically drastically increase if you do get sick. Then the other benefits that the Dreem 2 headband that the Muse does not is something right on the top here, a sleep schedule with an alarm. So it will actually figure out what sleep stage I'm in. And if I'm in light sleep and I set the duration as like 30 minutes or 15 minutes before my wake time, it'll try to wake me up during light sleep rather than REM or deep sleep. And I set this up, I like to go to bed early. If you scroll down here, one downside is it's kind of buggy. If I try to like change it, it's not so smooth. I want 5 a.m., 5 a.m. 5 a.m. did it. It's a little challenging. I can turn on planned alarm. I say the days of the week that I want the alarm. You can also turn on a bedtime reminder, and then I hit the X, it will save it. Boom. And what it also does is when I go to settings, it connects to HealthKit. The Dreem 2 headband will sync your sleep time to HealthKit, whereas the Muse S will not sync your sleep to HealthKit. It will sync your mindful meditation minutes to HealthKit though. One nice feature about the Dreem is you have night mode, you have a nap mode, which you can set kind of what configuration you want to nap to, as well as a relax mode, which you kind of view as kind of like their version of meditation. And in their night mode, what I love about Dreem is I like to do on a respiration and stream, so it'll play a breathing sound via bone conduction. So it'll play that sound of breathing. Essentially, I do a breathing exercise using that headband before I go to bed, and then on the background it plays like a stream to kind of make me feel like I'm in nature. Bougie, right? But I found that helps me fall asleep faster. And then I have the alarm. I set a duration of 5 a.m. is when I try to wake up. Whenever I hit my light sleep within that 15-minute window, it starts the alarm, so I feel more refreshed in the morning and not like a jagged wake up all of a sudden. These are features that the actual Muse S does not have yet. Now, if we go to the Muse headband, this was built originally for meditation, but they've dove into the sleep, and I love that they're doing this. Competition is great. And competition is great because recently I noticed that the Dreem is now introducing this thing called breathing irregularities detection, where they use the microphone in the device to track your breathing, which I'm super excited about. I haven't yet seen that in my sleep reports, but Dreem, please keep updating and adding features. I love that. Now the Muse headband, right? You have your meditation tab. We want to talk about that today. I have another video on that. You can watch that. Go ahead to the sleep tab. And the biggest mistake I made is I thought there was like a button that says track your sleep, go, start your night. It doesn't work like that. You actually have to start a sleep journey, and I think I only used that feature once. And you go ahead, you pick it, you can have different soundscapes. So you have all these options for different soundscapes. You can download them beforehand, and then you have guidances where people will actually talk to you and walk you through it. These are varying in time. They're not exact time lengths. It can range from like 7 minutes to 25 minutes, and someone will kind of talk to you through your iPhone audio. So one thing is you need your iPhone to actually do the sleep tracking, whereas the Dreem headband, this connects to your Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and you can use this device without your phone. And that's what I love. Before I go to bed, I don't want to touch my phone. Whereas if you want to use this, you got to have your phone with you. With the Dreem headband, you don't need your phone, right? It'll upload to the Wi-Fi and be on the app for you when you left your house. Or you can spend a couple of days and not touch your phone, and you'd still be tracking your sleep. Now to get the actual tracking started, we would hit play. You say how long you want this journey to last. We actually have to turn on our Muse device. There's a little power button right here. Boom. There's orange lights go on. Your device is now connected. We'll start the session. It'll do a sensor check. Guess we need this on to make sure the sensor check works. And the Dreem headband, to get the night started, you just put it on. It's got two buttons right here. It's got a slider for volume and one big button. The button you press once to turn on. And then I double tap the big bar and the night gets started. That's it. My respiration will start going. My breathing exercises, love that. I wish you could have custom breathing exercises. Would love to do Wim Hof, but that's not available yet. 5 sensors and heart rate are good. Now it will start my sleep session, and it'll do a 15 minutes of the journey, and then it'll keep tracking my entire night. As you can see on the bottom, it says stop tracking. I can tap that. That's my time in bed. So I'm actually gonna stop that, we'll skip it, and it'll give me my results for the night, which we'll go through in just a bit. So if I go to the Me tab, select sleep, I can go ahead and see my sleep scores for the past couple of nights where I tried this out. My sleep average, what time I went to bed, 5:34, that doesn't make sense. I guess I just ruined my average. Sleep time, heart rate, and stillness. So you have those 3 different views you can get. Session history, I can go ahead and see. Maybe I should delete the one I just did right now. Calm the monkey mind. So I just did 1 session. It'll show you my sleep stages. Essentially same format in the Dreem headband. You have your different levels of throughout. It's the same order. It has my bedtime, my wake time, how much time I spent in bed, just like the Dreem. Has my sleep positions. Rather than scrolling through, you kind of have to look at it to see where you were, and you can kind of get an average. Right, I really like to sleep on my left and right, and sometimes my back. rarely ever my front or upright. I had my average heart rate. They were pretty close when it came to heart rate, not too much difference. And then finally stillness and a sleep score. And you can also journal. Both of them have a journal feature where you can state how well you felt throughout that night. Because the data isn't always gonna tell you how you felt, you have to kind of take both of that information and combine it together. This is non-scientific, but what I did for these 2 nights is I actually wore both headbands, cuckoo crazy right here, made sure that it was covering my entire forehead with 2 EEGs. I wore this for 4 nights just for this channel, just for you to get this data. I wouldn't say this is super accurate, super scientific, but we'll go through what I learned and what the sleep, how they differentiate in terms of the data that I received for my sleep stages. Okay, December 2nd. These are the sleep stages the 2 saw. This is off of Photoshop skills. I tried to overlay how they look. Also, I just look crazy with these 2 on my head, but it's okay. And you can see the Dreem headband stated I was awake at number 1 and the Muse S did not. There was a point where the 2 didn't think I was in light or REM, they couldn't really decide, and one where there was a spike in awake. December 3rd, overall, this one had kind of bigger differentiations. At 1, you can see one thought I was in deep where the other thought I was in REM, and then vice versa a couple more times. So they both kind of flip-flopped in terms of deep and REM. When it came to December 4th, the beginning of the night, the Dreem thought I was awake, whereas the Muse kind of just flip-flopped between awake and light sleep. I was having really bad trouble sleeping that night, so I'm pretty sure I was awake. December 5th was pretty spot on. Slight differentiation between wake and light, as well as, actually this was the night where the Muse S ran out of battery, so we didn't have a lot of data to go off of. One of the issues, if you don't charge the device, you don't get data, so charge your device. December 6th, the final night I did this on, beginning differentiation between light REM and awake between Dreem and Muse. They were pretty spot on when it came to REM sleep and Dreem, right? You can kind of tell there's like slight differentiation between the 2, but rather close. The Dreem had another instant moment where I thought I was awake. I'm not sure if I was, but the Muse S did not find that spike. But other than that, I felt like they were pretty close from one another. I wouldn't always go 100% off of these devices. They are more accurate than probably the wearables that you wear because they're measuring your brain waves and trying to make a decision, but they are still consumer wearables, so just be mindful. Don't take this data with like 100% accuracy. There are going to be some issues with it. Even with the Dreem headband, when I first had it, I had some data issues where it would tell me, hey, your signal is not great, and they would tell me that my percentage of accuracy wasn't high enough, and that's why it would give me that error. But nowadays, I've kind of learned how to wear it best for my head, and it tends to work properly. But it's just something to keep in mind. The data isn't always 100% true, so don't feel like, oh, I got 5 more minutes. Like that could just be a differentiating factor between these devices kind of being slightly off. Final factor of the Dreem headband, the price. Right now they're both $299. The Dreem headband was initially like $500-600, but they did cut the price. And I think now they're really trying to compete with the Muse S because they know meditation headband. A lot of people know this brand too, and they might already have it. So I think that creates good competition. I'm hoping that they continue to improve their products. I do absolutely love the alarm and the go to sleep journeys more on the Dreem headband. I love the form factor, the portability of the Muse S. So when it comes to my preference, which one would I recommend? It depends on what you do. If you're traveling a lot, I highly recommend the Muse S. It's a great meditation headband. You can travel with it, you can track your sleep. It's just more convenient to put this in your suitcase. If you're someone who kind of lives in one place and you're not on the go all the time, this just has a better charging experience. And it doesn't matter if you don't use it. They also have these programs on Dreem. They also have these like sleep coaching programs on Dreem where they help you improve your sleep. Very good sleep programs. They use like CBTI. They essentially have this built-in course that you can use to improve your sleep, and I've heard people say great things about it in the Dreem Facebook group. So definitely worth a shot for trying that out. I feel like they're more full-fledged. They've been doing this longer. This is the 2nd headband, so they just like do a better job when it comes to sleep tracking. But that's kind of the main reason why I would get this. The other pieces, if you get the European version of the Dreem headband, you do get the deep sleep stimulations, which studies have shown increase deep sleep. I wish the American version had that, but this is an FDA Class 2 medical device, whereas this is not, and that's kind of why they had to remove that feature. The other piece, I love when things integrate with HealthKit. So happy this does too. If you are just trying to be someone who is experimenting with their sleep, almost being a self-scientist, then maybe that's the step you want to take and figure out what type of person are you? Traveling, or are you someone who's at home, you want better data, and you want your headband to be more focused on sleep? Dreem 2 headband, Muse S headband, Shervin shares. Make sure to subscribe down below, like this video, leave a comment. What did you think? What did I leave out of this video? What do you want to see more of? I hope you enjoyed it. My name is Shervin. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next video. Peace! I forgot to mention this part. If you are planning to purchase one of these, use my affiliate links down below. It helps support the channel, and I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. We have a Dreem 2 headband and a Muse headband affiliate link. It helps support the channel. Use one of those links. Peace! Thumbnail? Peace!